Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Technical difficulties already. I can see why, Allie, I didn't bring you in. I was like, what is it happening? It was like beeping at me. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley. We are broadcasting live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Get ready to escape the next hour as we break norms and build dreams with Allie today. I'm so excited to have you.
Hi. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just do a little quick bio on who you are, and then maybe you can tell us a bit more about you.
Absolutely.
Going back and forth because I'm getting error messages. So I'm sorry if anyone is having issues on the other end. Everyone, please meet Allie. Allie is a business and mindset mentor and thinking partner behind Powerful Women. Through her signature ocean-based metaphor and her be to do to have approach, she helps founders and communities transform who they are before redefining what they do, creating deep confidence, clarity, and freedom in business and in life. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, well, maybe you can kind of dig in on and let us know about how you started.
Yeah, I started with diving into my own ocean and realizing what are the nets there. So when I explain what do I do is I envision the client in front of me as an ocean, and deep down they have all of the answers, all of the wisdom and all of the happiness that they are looking outside already inside them. But they keep swimming on the level of invisible nets. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't know whether this is gonna or not. And I am a diver. I'm diving inside of their ocean to remove that net and to help them go deep into their own value and understand what is really happening inside them to then skyrocket in business and life. And how I started with realizing that I have a very, very big net that was holding me back in my business and life and in the personal relationships as well. And it was quite a journey to overcome that and to really dive deep into my own ocean, because we really can't find and can't do that by ourselves, because the neuropaths in our brain are so wired to the old behaviors and the habits that we put on for the life, and it's very hard to change them. But when you do, then everything changes and you finally start to feel yourself as a different person and then behave as a different person as well.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think because you and I have already did like a little bit of a podcast on your channel, but maybe you can kind of, did you always envision being an entrepreneur and following in deep into this path?
My dad was an entrepreneur for his whole life, and he still is. And I've been inspired by him a lot. He was working hard and long hours, and I knew that there were a better way to do that, even though I didn't know how. But I was always very fascinated by the amount of freedom that he had in his life, and understanding that I am responsible for my own outcomes. And that was the main thing that started. And then we went into a few workshops and educations together specifically for entrepreneurs and founders. And it's been a very rewarding journey of knowing that I have roots there and then seeing my family being on my side as well. My mom wasn't on my side in the very beginning. She was always, I need the certainty, I need work, and I need to work at one place because that is how I am, and that is how she is. And it was a big battle inside me to see what root inside me is bigger, and I understood that it is much more aligned with me when I know that I am responsible for my own outcomes, and when I am really helping transform other people's lives through the work that I do.
Amazing. And I find that I think we still live in world two of the go to university, or we have your like elementary school, middle school, high school. Then we're from there, go off to university, college, get your education, go off to the corporate world kind of mindset still, right? Um, but as we organically take a step back, we can kind of see that things are shifting and pivoting. And I keep saying, like, the next generation, I think, will be so much more stepping and leading into the entrepreneurship roles. And they're already advocating on like flexible work schedules. And there's a lot of um, notations of people being like, oh, they're, I don't know, Gen Z or whichever. Like, I can't keep track of all of them. And I don't think it's necessarily bad when you're I don't like to stereotype in that way. I think if anything, we're moving towards a direction that we should be living into that kind of balance, and having that kind of sense of freedom and working with family alongside and having the passions on our side. I think just naturally, like in the next generations to come, we're going to see so many more entrepreneurs. So I'm excited to kind of see that shift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I find too, going kind of back to, like, that storyline of, like, that like, navigating, like, it took me so long to get here. I'm almost 40 next year, and it didn't happen just yesterday. Like, I really follow that to a T, and now thinking back to it, like, I don't think I can live in a 9 to 5 because I've realized, like, my ADHD is, like, some people just can't keep up with me because 'cause I'm just, like I flitter, and I just need to constantly be learning and going, and then I can't be stagnant or else, like, it's like my dopamine drops off.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been also interesting to see throughout my journey that usually I am the youngest person in the room,
Mm,
which in the beginning I was thinking that, oh, well, I am the most unexperienced, which means that who on earth would hear or listen to what I have to say? Who on earth would trust me that I can coach them, that I can give them some insights or the breakthroughs? And that took a toll on me, and it all was in that root net that I was uncovering for my whole life, that I'm not good enough. And it was so interesting that we are coming from the generations right now from not good enough first, and that is the root in the 9 to 5, because everyone was born and was grown up and was built in the system of, we just go to the college and then we work and then we meet the significant other and then we retire and die. And that was the only way for the majority of us to go to. And people who were there to switch the pattern,
mhm,
they were very brave, but at the same time, they still have and had doubts inside them. And those doubts are not for only them, but for their kids as well, because they are all going through the generations of one parent knowing that something is wrong inside them. It will inherently go to a kid as well, whether
mm,
he wanted or not, unless we really work on that and heal
mhm,
that and make a peace
mhm,
with that.
mhm,
So it was so interesting to hear you that it took me some time to arrive to this point. And I'm like, I'm very active like you. I'm very, very multi-passionate, and I can switch my my hobbies and the way I, not the way I coach people, but the way I invite people in very quickly, because I need that moment, like I can't do routine actions even in my business. I can't do the same thing all over again. I need new things. I need to learn new things, and I need to constantly be evolving and growing and developing. And it was interesting to see how other people see that not as a disadvantage, but as a competitive edge of me, that I am younger than the majority of people who I talk to, and the majority of the podcasts and the radio shows and the speaking engagements that I am there, and everyone was like, okay. And that is it is fun too, because we all think that there is something inside of us that is wrong. And as soon as we accept that that is our edge, that that is something unique about us that no one has, then we start to be our own selves. Then we start to use that to our advantage, and then we start to really be ourselves and be the happiest person ever, because we don't need to pretend anymore.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. And I find too, as we grow up, like we have a lot of noise around us of what we should do and what we shouldn't do and who for. And so sometimes, like you're just mentioning, like your mom wasn't very happy about, not very happy, but just doesn't understand the path of entrepreneurship. And I totally get that. I would say that would be more on my dad's side. Like I remember him always being like, you need to go work on a cruise ship. You need, like, I would go bananas on a cruise ship. Like, I don't know who, props to all of you who do, but like, I need to like know that I'm not going to be like stuck in one spot. Like I will go a little crazy. I know cruise ships are so big, but I just know myself that I just wouldn't do well. And then he originally also wanted me to be a nurse. I'm like, I can't even see the sight of blood. Like I'd be the worst nurse ever. Yes, I'm a very caring, kind person, but the sight of blood, like I'll drop down. That's the worst nurse you want. So following the path too, like you're hearing like all these different kind of noises of what direction and where to go. And sometimes we forget like the true authentic self of who we are and the direction that we want to go into, and like stepping into that. And it's hard too when we have so much noise, not just from like the parent level, but on social media too. So yeah. And then I love what you're saying there too about just all of it. Like I was so excited to have you on, Aly, because you and I just really connected on the show that I went on with you for. And I really do love how you kind of like how you're talking to about the ocean and getting us to think about it as the ocean, which I've never even thought of that before.
Yeah, nobody ever thinks that our mind is the ocean that we got to explore, because we either afraid of ocean because we don't know how to swim, or maybe there are sharks or anything like that. But when we get to realize that if we think about the lens of business, we cannot build $20,000 business on $5,000 mindset. Then we understand that we have to go back into clearing up our own waters and really looking at ourselves first before trying to help others first, and then before trying to build something bigger than us and something as unusual as business compared to 9 to 5.
And then also, like, I think, like I say this, but I really think we're changing it up, and I'm excited to see that things are changing up a little bit than even in the 9 to 5, say if you work in a 9 to 5, those days I find that employers are starting to think a little bit outside the box too, of how to make it so it is a little flexible. We're not there yet. I think we can go a little bit further, but I think with how things have shifted in the world, I think it's helped us move in that direction that we need, because everybody wants a little bit more flexibility in their life, even if you're not a parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I know we talked a little bit, but maybe you can kind of talk about your be, do, have, the identity shift and how it changes everything.
Yeah. It does. And yes, we started talking about that you can't build that big of a business on that small kind of a mindset. And it all starts from, I love the metaphor of, there is Steve Jobs, who is building Apple, and there is a Pete in the garage that is trying to build some sort of the same company. The main difference between them, let's imagine that neither Steve or Pete has big amount of money or a big amount of connections, and they all start from the same place. The biggest difference is that Steve trusts and believes that there is nothing that can stop him and his vision back. There is nothing that can prevent him from knowing deeply into the heart that he will be able to create the biggest company in the world. And that vision only make him do the kind of actions that Pete didn't even think of doing, like connecting with people who might be very crucial and instrumental in the history of Apple, and pushing very hard for all of the ideas and comments and all of the things and features that he really thought of doing. And then I'm asking my clients, do you want to be Apple or do you want to be Pete? And when we are coming into business with all our old patterns that we grow up with in our family, and if your family is not in the position that you want to be in, I'm sorry, but most likely you don't need to listen to them. Because we have to think of, where do I want to be? And start getting closer and closer to that person first, not to that place, but to that person of who we want to become. Because once we are already operating on the mindset of, and I am giving all of the examples from the business side, but you can do that on a family side or on a side of your life or the personal relationships or maybe even work. When you know where you want to be materially, you have that vision, then I want you to go deep down and really envision, who is that person who already has that dream life of yours? Who is that person who has already X amount of money a year, that very car that you've been dreaming of, or that very house that you really want to move in? And feel that person. What's the main difference? Most likely that person is much more confident. Most likely that person is much more certain and grounded in every single step that they are doing. And once you connected with them, then I want you to operate from that person. And unfortunately, it's very easy to slouch back into our old habits because our neuropaths in our brain has been going on the very same path for decades right now. And when we are envisioning that new identity, that our new self, it is the same like needing to build a road or a highway through a very thick forest that you've never been ever before. And your neurons, they are afraid of going there, number one. And number two, who tells us that on the other side it's not alligators or a bear, or there is no danger there, but we will achieve something greater, something better for us. There is no safety in doing that by ourselves. And that's why our brain defaults to the main function that it has: keep ourselves safe. By repeating the same actions that proven ourselves before that it's safe.
Yes.
But we can't go into a new life operating from the same habits and from the same mindset that we had, because all of your mindset made you who you are right now and built that life who you are right now. Most likely, if you are still listening to that conversation, that is not the life that you want, and you want something better, and you want more and working less and enjoying life more. And that's how you do that, by first changing who you are here in your head to then drop it in your body. And that is how we create aligned transformation. Because otherwise you can do it. You can go ahead and hustle, work harder, and do everything in your power to do. But then it will lead to burnout. Then it will lead to misalignment. And that is where people are coming back to me or therapist or anyone like that and screaming and weeping with, I really wanted that life, but it doesn't feel very aligned. And I guess that I have to go back to work right now because nothing works. But it doesn't have to be that way.
I like that. And I like your kind of comparing like Steve Jobs to Pete, because just to have that a little bit more in perspective. And it's true. Like if we're set in the pattern, well, I'll just talk about me, for example. Like I'm doing a speaking event on the 28th, and it's actually like how to confidently become confident in camera. And I take it kind of further where that's like video content, but really I think a lot of them think that I'm talking about photography. And I think it's just the same level. But naturally, like I wouldn't have thought for myself to be public speaking as much as I am like 3-4 years ago. So like now where I am today, because I know my path is to be a public speaker. I want to, like, my passion is to be a mentor, somebody that others can look up to. So like these are like the narrow paths too. If I just stuck in the back end of like, oh, one day I hope to be there, but I can't. If I stay stuck in the can't mode and become the doer, it's like moving little steps, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
I find we live in a world that makes us think that we all have to be perfect. Imperfection is perfect.
Exactly. And we are all achieving and growing from the messy middle. We hope to get to the ideal perfect, but we are never there and we'll never be there. Absolutely. And the question that I really want to ask you, I know that that's your show, but I'm very curious to just show it as an example. If you think about yourself now that is booked for speaking gigs already, and if you think about yourself 5 years ago when you were just dreaming about those speaking gigs and how to get there, and you were worried maybe about that, whether you will get there ever or not, what is the main one difference inside of yourself? Like, who is Brittney different right now compared to who she was before?
I would say confidence, for sure. I would feel like a lot of people even too, like they might think that that confidence is like, oh, she's too much. She thinks she's too high of herself. It's like, no, I'm just really confident, finally stepping fully into who authentically I want to be, who I always was, but I just was too shy or too like always wanting to stay in the background, because I used to always stay in the background, because if you stay in the background, you can't get flagged of like your ideas are crazy or that's dumb or whichever. Because when I've talked on the show in the past that I do have dyslexia, and so I've just learned how to be quiet. So if I spoke up, I wouldn't show like I was stupid. So now I'm moving past that piece of the shyness and kind of holding myself back because I want to be confidently me. So 5 years ago, I don't even think I even thought about speaking to the capacity that I do think where I want to go now per se, but I do know there was a professor that I went to when I was doing business, and he made a comment to me being like, there's something in you. I want you to like take Toastmasters and just try it, and just there's something there holding you back, and just start like building away at it. And so I did take Toastmasters. There's always like something like in the back of my brain of like, I actually really adored this professor. You get only a great few professors in your life, and he's one of them. And yeah, I just remember just fully stepping into it. And my husband at the time, he was like, oh, you're crazy for like, that's your elective of free will to do. He's like, that's just crazy. I would rather just stay home and play video games. I'm like, well, that's how we're different. To me, like that fills my cup. of challenging
Mhm.
myself and moving past, because I know I want to confidently build myself in alignment to where I envision myself, and I can't get there if I just stay at home. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and the exercise can be also, I hope that every one of you who is listening to it right now is doing the same thing of thinking about yourself 5 years ago and what's the main difference in between. And if you can share that in the comments, that would be amazing. But also, as you see yourself that back then, you
Mhm.
didn't even think that something like that can be possible.
Mhm.
Same thing for us happens in the future as well. Meaning, right now, we have no clue what would be obvious for us in 2, 3, 5 years' time. We just
Mhm.
don't know, because that is how evolution of our brain goes. We cannot ever anticipate and know in advance what would be what our experience will teach us
Mhm.
in X amount of years. And that is always very amazing to know that, well, if I don't know what I don't know, number one, and if I don't know right now what I am gonna build from that newer self, that just goes back always to, I love the mission that you have around just growing each and every single day and becoming better every single day. And for me personally, that becomes the mission or the main purpose of my life, is just to get better and to keep getting better every single day, because then I would be able to experience so many different experiences and open up so many doors of opportunities in front of me, number one. And number two, why else then living the life if we are not experiencing all of the emotions that we can
Mhm.
by going there, risking it all, making mistakes, coming back, learning, and doing that all over again?
Mhm. And I it's okay to take risks. I think sometimes we're scared to take risks and move out of the thing of the known. And not knowing, I think, is definitely scary, but I think that's what makes life interesting too. We're alive now, so might as well step into it and take that risk. I don't know, like, when I think of that, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I would necessarily wanna go skydiving," but
Yeah, absolutely.
you
Like
know what
the
I mean.
Yeah, the risk that makes sense for you, for
Yeah.
your new level, and maybe one day you would see the purpose and the meaning in that. It was so interesting. I will share a story that I just experienced last week.
Mhm.
Um, I started playing badminton right now more and more often, and they changed the structure of the group right now. Before we were all together, but right now they're mixing us up. Inside two main subgroups. One is intermediate, and the other one is all level. And I truly hope that no one from my badminton is listening to that right now, but I don't care. um, what happened is that I played for a few months right now here, and I also have been playing back in the uni. And I am very stubborn, and I've played tennis and I've played many sports before. And I really wanted to be in intermediate group, and I was very pissed off that I am not there,
Yeah.
because my ego was triggered and
Mhm.
bruised from my old self that thinks that she
Mhm.
is not enough. And
Yeah.
then I got triggered, and then of course I wanted to go to that intermediate group. And later on, I was talking to my mentor, and I've realized that it's not about badminton. It's not about winning and showing to that organizer that I am good enough for intermediate group, but it's
Mhm.
about how can I see badminton as a training course for my emotional and mental state that I
Mm.
can then use into my business. Because when you just missed a point,
Mhm.
you have to re-engage your brain very quickly towards that new point that is right now. And it was
Mhm.
so interesting that there was speech of a very famous tennis player, Roger Federer, in front of the university, and he said that he lost 56% of the points in his career, despite the fact that he won 86% of games. So he won much more games than he lost in points, because tennis can be like that.
Yeah.
And he said that when I am missing a point, it is over, it is a past, and I am focusing on my next one. And I am moving my whole attention to that next point because it's the most important point right now. And then that point passed, and I'm focusing on the next one. And as quickly we can move from one point to the other in life, from one risk to the other, from one mistake to the other, the faster we will embody all of the lessons that our life is teaching us through those lessons, to then being able to slow down and understand that is what it is here for, and that is how it is all about, you know?
Yeah, I love that. And I find like going back to like the emotion part, sometimes emotions do get the best of us. We're human.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just how we react. And sometimes growing up, sometimes maybe we've never were properly taught how to listen and how to really react with those emotions and move with them. And it's a learning process. It doesn't happen overnight. Like I know, like I'm still like, especially with ADHD, like when I get overstimulated, I'm like, ugh, like I just need to I need a minute in my quiet space in the dark just to like reset. And it's just understanding what those emotions are and how they show up and what that reset button is like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a thing that I've created. I know that I didn't send you a link in advance, but I've created a energy reset ritual where for 10 minutes people can just sit with their own depth, with their own emotions, and just ground themselves and have that quiet moment for themselves. And if there's going to be a way, we can share it after, or if not, anyone can just connect with me on LinkedIn and I will send it to them as well.
Yeah, I'll put the banner up for anyone who's watching for LinkedIn, but you can find Aly at Aly Breathe. So ALYBRE. Wait.
BREATHE.
My brain was like reading the scroll, and then I was like, my brain doesn't want to compute it.
I know.
Then I was like, I'll just look over here. Thank you.
Oh,
But
good.
it's ALYBREATHE for anyone who's listening. Oh my goodness, my brain. It's a Monday, everyone.
Absolutely.
But we're a little bit past the midway point. So anyone who's tuning in, welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. We're live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. But no, I do like that. And one of your notes that you mentioned to kind of like hit on is why slowing down makes you more successful. Like when you're speaking there, like I was looking at some of your notes that you wrote in the doc, I kind of feel like we should kind of tap into that, because I feel like we live in a world that's moving so fast. And I don't know if it feels like this for anyone else, but I feel like it's moving, like I already know like we're moving so fast, but it feels like it's picked up a little bit extra speed, and everyone's like wanting answers really fast more than ever. And I feel like even me, like I feel like I can't even like keep up, because it's like I'm responding within 24 hours, but like to execute a certain project doesn't happen overnight. Like
Yeah.
expectations for some people are just bananas. And I think like we are on a track of maybe like the world feeling like we're even like super triple speed. Maybe because it's the holidays, like we're jumping into the holidays, and so everyone's trying to rush and get everything done before Christmas break. But my brain's already in Christmas break, FYI. My brain's like, maybe that's the issue too.
I think we are speeding up because of AI.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get answers from everything and everyone right now. ChatGPT can give you answer to absolutely everything in a matter of milliseconds, not even seconds. And when you are waiting for maybe 20 seconds for it to load the answer, it already feels so slow. So frustratingly slow that you want to just smash the computer out and move faster. I want to get that answer much, much faster. But honestly, about slowing down, that is the lesson that I'm still learning. And it's a hard one because I've been brought up to this life from the understanding of you have all of the resources in the world, you have all of the opportunities, and it's going to be on you how much you are using them. And the only way how I was brought up, again, it was just through work harder, and then you would get all of your results. Most likely because my dad also was and is still an athlete, and he also always was from that idea of constant grind and constant need to work, and he was working in the business 12 hours at least a day. And I didn't have any other way how not to work harder. And when I was presented with that idea, I was like, what do you mean? Because it was feeling like I felt like it's unsafe not to work more. It's unsafe to slow down and to stop. But slowing down doesn't mean that you have to just lay in the bed and not doing anything. No, that happens when you are rushing and when you are in burnout, and then you have to slow down because you have to, not because you want to and you got to. And the core idea of slowing down and why it is important is because imagine a car and it's driving through mountains, through forest, lakes, rivers, and you are driving on 100 miles per hour. I don't know about miles, but if we are talking about the kilometers, imagine very, very fast, on the end of the edge of the speeding wheel.
Yeah.
And you are driving very, very fast and you can't see the vision outside of the windows of your car. And at some point you can come in life, and I'm sure that most of us have experienced that. That feeling of, oh my lord, it is already Christmas of 2025.
Yeah.
It is already here. We are already there. We were just talking about COVID. We were just worrying about all of that. Some of the other events happened what feels like just right now. And we are rushing not only because of AI, not only because of everyone is so rushing. Yes, we are mirroring them at some point, but at the same time, we are rushing ourselves also because we see others succeed much faster in life. We see others have billionaires and many, many houses and followers when they are 20. And then when we are 40, we're asking ourselves, where am I? And that is how we start to compare subconsciously and slowing down into not even slowing down, but realizing that, oh my lord, where am I? What am I doing with my life if that kid is already a millionaire? And that it starts a spiral, and then we start working harder, and then we want more, and then we start very subconsciously going into that spiral of, I just need to work hard. And for me, it was very much like a foreign language of understanding, what do you mean I need to slow down to speed up? What do you mean I need to slow down to get much more results in my life? I just don't understand how. it doesn't apply for people who are working on a factory or on a very manual labor. But if anyone who is listening is working mainly with your mind and through the cognitive activity, which I believe is the majority of us, then it is all around how can I serve one client so deeply they will never forget our conversation until the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question would be not how many people can I serve, how many clients do I need to go through, not even to serve, but to go through this week. But the question would be, who can I serve deeply today?
Mm-hmm.
Forget about other noise tasks that are out there and go into that one person and serve them as deeply as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then it creates depth. It creates the difference with all of the other people who are just doing transactional
Mm-hmm.
pleasing of others.
Yeah.
And we don't want people pleasers. We want someone who can say something to us that we never heard, or who, like, we have some people in life that they just need sometimes one person who can ask them a question that everyone else just afraid of asking.
Mm-hmm.
And something that can move them to a deeper level and really realize and understand, oh, I've been building my business before from hustle. And if I really slow down and go deeper rather than further, then it's going to change everything. And then people would gravitate towards you, not because you have money, but because you have that presence, that energy that everyone else is looking for right now, because everyone is so speed up in every single way that as soon as we are connected with a person who can just sit, listen, don't go to the social media, don't go to the Instagram to scroll, don't have any notifications on the phone to disturb them from the really presence, that's unique right now. That is something that not everyone can do, because everyone just want to run and do more, which, if that brings happiness and money in your business and that is what you want, amazing, keep doing what is working. But if you know that you want to be different, you want to live differently, you want to be maybe not further ahead but having much more peace inside you, then we gotta talk.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I feel like, yes, about the AI, I feel like that has shifted a lot for us this year more than ever, like how AI has really come in full steam. And then two, I feel like we definitely are comparing ourselves a lot to each other on social media, even though we don't really understand what's happening behind the scenes. So like I've had people come up to me before being like, Brittney, you're killing it. You're doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, you didn't know, like I was super sick all of October. For this whole year, like my son has been super sick home. So like really, I feel like all the goals that I had for myself this year kind of went out the window because my kids come first. And so when I hear these things, I was like, well, you don't really know what truly happened behind the scenes, but thank you for seeing that I'm killing it. And then also too, like what does killing it mean for one person versus the other?
Yeah,
Like what does success mean? I think it's going to be completely different compared to one person to the other person too.
absolutely. And when we are grounded enough to slow down and to understand and to accept the life as it is right now, then we would understand that we all live in perceptions of others
Mm-hmm.
and of ourselves. And I finished reading a book yesterday, which is called Wellness. And over there, mother was constantly worried about her not being good enough and thinking about herself of being the worst mother ever and never achieving and never giving the whole love to the son. And then at one absolutely random moment, son told her, "Mom, what do you mean? You are the best mama ever. You're absolutely perfect."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh goodness, I've been worrying about that for the last 6 years, every single day, of thinking that I am not good enough." And that is the power of understanding how mind works, because if she were to believe that she is an incredible mother already, what the difference she would create in the world of that kid and in the world of her own self. Because as soon as we let go of worry that we are not good enough, then I just feel it in my body that we can just exhale. We can just let go and we can realize that, oh my Lord, so all that time I was good, all that time I was perfect in the eyes of my son. Wow. And that we can take to every single way and to every single thing. And because our past self, or like maybe yourself a year ago, had exactly those goals, exactly those things. But what I bet that in a year time, you would look back in yourself and in that 2025, and you would feel that, oh my Lord, that was very, very good moment for me to slow down. Because maybe later on it's going to be so busy and so amazing, and it would only be possible because you were going through that year right now with that slowing down that life created in front of you.
I always just say, like, the universe is probably telling you to slow down. So listen to it. So instead of us always having, because sure, yeah, goals, we can have goals, we can have all these high expectations, especially if you are a high achiever like myself. But sometimes we need to like take a step back and reevaluate some things. And sometimes we need to not put so much pressure on ourselves too. Because going back to social media, there is a lot that you can compare yourself to. And every business and every person is so unique and they have a different journey. So it's hard for us to compare from one person to the next because no one person's the same.
Absolutely. And I was on a group meeting the other day, and I was asking a question of the founders that you know. What is still stopping them back internally, even if their strategy is already on the go, even if their strategy is already great and amazing? And they said noise. That noise, that overwhelm of other people pushing into the world what is the only best approach, how to build that very exact business that you have.
Yeah.
As soon as we really fully let go of that expectation of that's the only way how to build business, or like that person built that business that way and that means that I need to do that as well, and that's why I need to fully change absolutely everything that I've built already and start doing the very same thing that that very person was doing, then it is just the road to the breakdown. Because when we are not aligned with ourselves and we are just following what other people are saying, then it is not leading to long-term sustainable business.
And sometimes we forget because there is so many noises out there that we forget about like ourselves and our intuitive things that we're telling ourselves because of there's so much noise. So like Terry just said, sometimes we need to be still and breathe and sit with ourselves.
That is so true. And I just read it as well, and I just think that that is exactly reminder why I chose my last name in the marketing or branding to be Breathe. First reminding myself about that, both slowing down and looking out of the window from time to time and realizing that again it's already end of November 2025. And breathing in terms of really connecting with our body, because we are waking up and jumping from one thing to another without any moment of complete quietness and a complete connection with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then we keep jumping around until the bedtime.
Yeah.
And then there is just no alignment and no connection with ourselves. And of course, our body would be sick afterwards. Of course, our body will give us so much moments of reminders about, hey, I told you to slow down for the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
Now go ahead, and if you didn't hear me well, go ahead and slow down for a month because you haven't heard me before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're going to be almost at time in about 10 minutes or so. I want to make sure we give you time to talk about the breakthrough room. Words are hard for me today.
Absolutely. It's okay. We all been there. The main thing that you are back with us and with your health, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm very, very happy that you had that month, even though it was not the best, most likely in terms of feeling, but I guess that it was needed. So, what I have to offer for every single person who is listening to it right now is an experience of a group deep dive. The thing that I explained to you in the beginning, how I envision every founder that I work with as an ocean, I am creating a group dive where we metaphorically wear and put on ourselves the scuba gear, and we are going inside of our own ocean very safely, all together though, and going inside and seeing what has been stopping us from reaching our own depth for so long. And I found that from the experience, that idea of doing that in a group where you know that every single person, no matter how further ahead they are in the journey, they have their own struggles too. And as soon as you know that every single person is doing it right now, it creates a power dynamic inside the group, which creates so much more and so much deeper transformations for every single person involved. And we are then going inside of our ocean and finding out what has been stopping us for that long. And many people come back to me with the feedback of, hey, I don't really understand, what does it mean? Like, can you explain me with words what outcome do I get out of it? And my answer to that is, no, I can't. You just get to experience that. Because for every single person, there's something inside there. There's something in your ocean, and I can't know what is in your ocean and what experience would you feel at that very moment in time without knowing you more and without knowing what specifically is holding you back. The one thing that I know for sure is that there's going to be a shift inside of you that you will experience during that time. That's for sure. What that shift will create for you in your life, business, family, I don't know. But there's going to be a shift that you didn't know that you needed. A shift that would let you come back to yourself, reminding you about you are the most powerful person in your own life, and you are the most important person in your own life, and that you have to nourish your cup first. And before the Christmas, I really want everyone to come and nourish your cup first during that meeting that we'll have on the 5th of December at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where you can finally get that quiet space, not just for 10 minutes, but for 90, and reconnect with yourself, because I bet some of us feel that year almost passed, and that we wanted to achieve some goals. Some of them are achieved and some of them aren't, and some of them are not even thought of achieving because they are too far away. And instead of judging, instead of being overwhelmed by the end of the year to complete every single thing and again to rush to complete every single thing, I want us to slow down for a second and to reconnect with ourselves, because we will start with reconnecting with our own body, and then reconnecting with our own dreams and vision that we have inside of us, and then coming back to the future, coming back to the present moment, and understand like what is the main core barrier that is stopping us, and then we'll go inside. And then you can also see me live coaching others, or maybe you, if you would be fast enough, which is going to be free for everyone to experience and to come inside and to see me in action. Because yes, we can talk a lot about mindset and that I am mentoring other people and how it does look like, but it is impossible to explain with words what do I do specifically. It is also like the only way is to feel it and feel it on yourself. And I invite you to present yourself with that gift way before the Christmas of reconnecting with yourself and coming back to what is really important for you right now. And that gift, I guarantee you, would be the most precious one that you would ever be able to receive inside of your own life and under your own Christmas tree.
Amazing. I love that. And you and I did a session together. It's on your podcast. Is it live yet or not?
It is live yet. Yes, it is.
So anyone who can see it, it's just scrolling here on Aly's podcast. If they type this into the URL, would they go right to it, Aly?
They would go either on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Brave Enough to Win.
Perfect.
Brave Enough to Win is the name, and you would be able to find it. And some time ago, we did post it, and it's been an amazing. And I see you, Terry. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. It's really, really important for us to know that there are some people on the other side who are listening and who are resonating with all of that. So thank you so much for being active today.
Well, thank you so much, Aly, for coming on the show today. It was so lovely having you. You'll definitely have you back. And thank you for all our listeners today. I saw quite a few popping in and out. So thank you for coming over to listen to us on the long weekend for some of you, if you're still on it. With that, we are ending the show, Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. A big thank you to United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. We'll be live next week, Monday at 12 Pacific Standard Time, 3 Eastern Time. So come on in next week, and we can't wait to see you on Monday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.